the Giant Cassatt.
What is up, guys? My name is Jordan, the Giant Cassatt, and you are listening to the first episode of the Cassatt Show Podcast. All right, so I've done a podcast before. It wasn't very successful. In fact, it was about backyard wrestling. It was called the Cassatt Show, and I did a couple episodes. I had some backyard wrestlers listening to it. It was fun, but it just didn't work. I have been wanting to start a podcast about wrestling for the longest time, and ever since I was in middle school, my teachers told me, "You have a voice. You have a wonderful voice. You should be on the radio. You should have a podcast. You should do videos. You should do what you want to do because you have talent. You sound good." And ever since that, I've had the, I guess you want to say, ego to do something like this. So I'm doing it. I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to try and do it every single week. I'm going to have a new guest on it every week. Maybe eventually do some repeat guests. We'll have fun. I'm really excited. It's going to be a good time. It's not even necessarily only going to be about wrestling. I'll probably have an episode in a couple weeks about Infinity War, about Marvel and stuff like that. But yeah, this episode we did talk to That Wrestling Club's owner, Michael Gray. I thought it was a wonderful conversation. I had a great time. It was definitely fun, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. I will warn you, I have been sick for about 2 weeks. It's been absolutely terrible. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm still not feeling 100%. I am just weak. My throat hurts, my head hurts, and like, it's just terrible. But slowly recovering, and I decided I'm gonna do it today. We're gonna have a good time. I listened to it back. It doesn't sound bad, so it will be good. You do hear some heavy breathing because I'm having some problems breathing. You do hear the microphone move around, and you do hear at one point my phone dropped. But that's just small flaws. I was actually sitting on my bed because it's so cold in my apartment, and the bedroom is the warmest place. So yeah, I definitely had a good time with this, and I want to know, like, who do you want me to have on this podcast? Do you want to be on this podcast? Because anybody is welcome. I want to hear your story. I want to hear why you love professional wrestling, why you love Marvel comic books, why you love movies. I want to hear your story, and just reach out to me on Twitter, on Facebook. My name is Jordan Cassatt, at the Giant Cassatt on Twitter and Instagram, on Snapchat at the Giant Cassatt, at the Giant Cassatt on PlayStation and Xbox. Feel free to add me. We can be friends. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I promise hopefully next week it'll be a little bit more upbeat and I won't be coughing all the time. But definitely had a lot of fun recording this, and I really hope you guys enjoy listening to it. Anyways, here's my conversation with Mike from That Wrestling Club. We talk about the box, the greatest subscription box there is, That Wrestling Club. And we talk about WrestleMania and what to expect at WrestleCon this year in New Orleans. So enjoy the show. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm here right now with Michael Gray of That Wrestling Club. What is up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, so you are the first guest on the Cassatt Show Podcast. I'm excited to finally start this podcast, and I'm excited to have you as the first guest.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I think an appropriate question to ask you, you're the owner of That Wrestling Club. What is That Wrestling Club?
Well, if you've never heard of That Wrestling Club, we are a monthly wrestling subscription box. We ship out boxes every single month, and the items inside are completely random. You never know what you're going to get. Usually we do t-shirts, autographs, figures, that kind of thing, but we're always changing it up and trying to think of new items each month, so it really is a mystery. So we send those out every month.
Yeah. So you started, what, in 2016?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it was July 2016 was the first box we did.
What was your thought? Like, what made you want to do a wrestling-themed subscription box?
Well, time when I started it, there was only a couple of boxes. There's more now.
Uh-huh.
And then of course, kind of the main one at the time is now under new ownership.
Yeah.
But I think at the time there was a bit of a market for them. The boxes that were being offered were not necessarily great.
Yeah.
They weren't horrible. So I kind of watched some unboxing videos. I like the idea of, having the challenge of a new box every month, trying to think of items, working with wrestlers to come up with t-shirt designs and autographs. So it was kind of my foot in the door of the wrestling business. I've always wanted to do something that involved wrestling since I'm a huge fan and been a fan since I was a kid. So yeah, like I said, I kind of came across some unboxing videos. I mean, this was before Slam Crate was out. This is, before the other boxes were as big as they are. It was a lot less competition, and the other boxes weren't as big as they are now. So it was just a good time, I felt, and like I said, I wanted to take on the challenge.
I remember when you first started the box. I think it was Pop Culture Junkie posted about it. He's like, "Oh, go sign up for this new wrestling subscription box," and I commented on it. I'm like, "Why would you do another wrestling subscription box?" Because at the time there was like 3, maybe 4 of them, and I think I was getting all of them, and I think I was mad because I was like, "Oh, I have to get another one," and I wasn't gonna get it. And you messaged me. You're like, "Hey, I'm the owner of that wrestling club. You should get it, and you should let me know what you think." You might have gave me like 10% off for me to get it, and and looking back to that day, I am so glad I did it. You've had quality boxes every single month. Your first box had a Hulk Hogan autograph. Okay, that is huge, and since then, you've had people like Braun Strowman, AJ Styles, Nia Jax, Seth Rollins, Bret the Hitman Hart. You've had so many big names in professional wrestling. How do you go about getting these big names?
Well, it's not easy. First of all, I think some people that subscribe to the box assume that I just have every single wrestler's phone number on speed dial, and I wish I did, but I don't. It's connections. It's building relationships. I've been very fortunate that through the years now, I mean, this is going on almost 2 years that I've been doing this box. So through the years, I've gotten to know a lot of people in the wrestling business, become friends with a lot of people, and sometimes it's somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And one quality that I have is I'm very persistent and very determined. And when I kind of set my goals on if I decide a specific wrestler, like Hulk Hogan, for example, when I was doing my first box, I said to myself, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but if I'm going to start a new box and I want to make an impact, who am I going to get that's going to make a huge impact? And the first name that came to my head was Hulk Hogan. And, I forget even how I went through the process, but I did it. And so, yeah, I just, it's for being persistent, building contacts with the right people, having good relationships with people. And I've been very fortunate that I've had an opportunity to work with some of the biggest names in wrestling. And I don't take any of it for granted. And it's very hard, but somehow I managed to do it. So there's not really a specific way. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. One of the cool things you do is you always include a picture of the wrestler with the signing autographs. Did you are you usually there, or do you usually send them out and have somebody get them signed for you?
It varies. The more of the bigger names, I've been there. There's a few that through connections from different promoters I know who do autograph signings. They've had certain guests at their event or whatever the case may be, that I've been able to get autographs from. But I think the majority of them, I've been there during those signings, and there's even a couple that I've traveled to get the autograph as well. So So yeah, usually I'm there.
Oh, that's awesome. Any cool stories you could tell us about like specific superstars?
Uh, I don't know if I want to mention names,
Okay.
but I've had a couple over at my house
Oh wow.
to do with signings. I've been to a few houses before.
Like a few wrestlers'
Nothing crazy's
houses.
happened. Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of the bigger WWE names that I hung out with them for a while at their place, and we did some signings there, and we watched Trailer Park Boys as we did it. Did the signings. So
based off your
yeah.
autographs, I can only guess who that might be. Just a few names. Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. So nothing crazy's happened, but yeah, I've been very very fortunate again. So that was probably one of the funnier times.
Oh, I bet. I saw a few things on Twitter. You're very active on Twitter and social media. You have it seems like a pretty good following because of it. You're very active and you are very kind, and but you like to put a lot of like quirky stuff out there, and you ask a lot of questions, and that's great. But recently you asked, what would you guys name a pop culture themed subscription box? All right. Is there what's in the works there? Can you tell us anything?
Well, right now I don't have anything official in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Being part of the subscription box service and our business and shopping around, I'm constantly on the internet. I'm constantly, anytime I go out, if I'm at the mall or traveling or whatever, anywhere, theme parks that I've been to, if I see a cool item, I'm always taking a note of that item, and that would be a cool item for a box.
For sure.
And I'm finding that there's a lot of really, really cool items out there that do not relate to pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably one of the challenges that we have for merchandise is there's really not a lot to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really cool stuff out there that's not wrestling related, and I think it would be really cool to do a box, fill it with some other items, and then of course I have partnerships with companies like Funko, and they obviously Funko does a Funko for everything, and they don't just do Funkos, they do T-shirts and pins, and they have their little Dorbs, and so there's just so much product out there that's not wrestling related, and I see it and I'm like, man, that's a really cool item. I'd love to put that in a box. So I'm kind of having this, when I'm shopping for wrestling merch, I'm seeing this other merch, and I'm like, man, that would be cool to do a box. So nothing's official, nothing's in the works. I'm just kind of brainstorming a few things, checking out the market, see if there's any sort of market for it, and kind of looking around to see if I were to dabble in the pop culture realm, what kind of box could I put together,
Mm-hmm.
and so nothing's official, but who knows what's going to happen.
I think it personally would be pretty cool. I would definitely check it out. Like, imagine, like, I don't know how hard it would be to get, but like just like celebrity autographs, maybe not like huge celebrities, like that'd probably be almost impossible, but like just like some like TV stars and stuff. I could see it happening. It could be popular. I definitely see like boxes like the BAM box and stuff doing that. Last time I saw you posting stuff like that, that thing ended up coming, and it's coming up soon this year. It's called That Wrestling Convention. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been doing the boxes now for, like I said, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And over that time, I've met a lot of people, like I said before, met a lot of people, started some new relationships, partnerships. I have built up a little bit of a contact list when it comes to wrestlers and, promoters and that kind of thing. So, I figured, well, what would be a good avenue to experiment with would be a wrestling convention. I have all the contacts, and I have experience working in the convention business from a previous life. So, it just kind of made sense to try it out. So, I'm a little bit of a impulsive person. I don't like to sit and dwell on things, and I had the idea. I've been to a few conventions myself, and I thought, why not? Why not try it out and see how it goes? So that's kind of how that came about. So far, I think we've got 9 confirmed names, which is pretty awesome. Good considering the event's not until July.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, which is a beautiful city in the middle of summer, so people can come in, check it out. The hotel is offering a great rate for the weekend, so people want to come down, come meet some wrestlers, and then head up to Disney World or Universal Studios. All that's 5 minutes away from where this is located at. So I don't know, I just thought it'd be a cool weekend, and like I said, bring in some wrestlers and do some meet and greets. So we've got some pretty big names coming in. I have Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. They're doing a duo photo op, autograph signings. We've got Jim Cornette coming in. Brutus Beefcake. Jake the Snake's coming. So there's a lot of cool names coming in. Rosemary, she's becoming a lot, very popular right now as well. So just very excited. Billy Gunn's a legend, Hurricane Helm. So yeah, it just kind of was an idea one day, and it's grown into this, and we'll see how it does. And if it does well, maybe next year it'll be even bigger.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That sounds like a whole lot of fun. Like, conventions are so cool. I've been to a few. I went to WrestleCon last year, and in fact, I hung out with you a lot over there. So, like, you definitely have the experience of running a convention. You actually, last year at WrestleCon, and it looks like you might be doing it again this year, that wrestling club literally, like, rolled that convention. Like, you had the whole back wall. And you were giving away free T-shirts. You were I remember you had me and Chris giving away free T-shirts. We had a blast, and it was crazy. I could not believe how much space that wrestling club covered that weekend. And I'm assuming you're doing it again in New Orleans. Because of just the poster you have like 7 wrestlers on there. It looked like. So you are going to be in New Orleans for WrestleMania this year?
We are. We will be at WrestleCon again. We're very excited about it. This year we're doing some, a little different. We're partnering up with Collar and Elbow, which is the Al Snow's wrestling brand, T-shirt brand. So we did a shirt with them back in December, which was an exclusive shirt. And we're partnering with them at WrestleCon this year. And we have, Kevin Nash, Mean Gene Okerlund, X-Pac, Al Snow, Amber O'Neal, ODB, just a bunch of people coming in that are going to be there, shaking hands and taking pictures and signing autographs. And we're extremely excited about it. WrestleCon's one of the biggest wrestling conventions of the year. I mean, the whole weekend is huge, so we're extremely happy to be a part of that. And then, of course, we'll be checking out the main event, WrestleMania, on Sunday as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to do any Bourbon Street?
Well, Shenanigans is Kevin Nash's VIP event, which takes place, I believe it's on Saturday night in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, and I'm definitely going to be a part of that as well. I'm excited about it. So there's tickets are on sale for that, and you can check that out online as well. So it's going to be an awesome party, and then of course they bring in a bunch of wrestlers as well, and you can just hang out with them and do a bunch of meet and greets there as well.
Yeah, you went to that last year, I remember, because we actually went to dinner at the place that they were having it at the next night. So like last year, I remember you said it was like super packed. But
it was really packed.
But was it worth it? Okay.
I thought it was worth it because, if you've never been, it's kind of like a really cool fan experience. You're not waiting in line. You're not getting 2 minutes with the wrestler. You go in, you buy a ticket, you go in there, and you're in this bar that they've basically bought out for the night.
That's awesome.
And it's all wrestling fans, and then the wrestlers that they have announced are like mingling with you at the event. So when I was there last year, I hung out with Eric Bischoff. I got to talk to him for a few minutes.
Awesome.
Who else did I see? There was a bunch of people there. Like Eugene was there, Al Snow was there, and they have a VIP section, which is a little more money, but yeah, it's really cool. If you've never been, you buy a ticket to go, and I think this year they're even advertising an open bar. So You go in on Bourbon Street, you go to this open bar, and check out all these wrestlers, man. It's really cool, and you get to have an experience with them that you wouldn't normally get to have. So, yeah, if you're considering going, I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, that does sound like a whole lot of fun. So you went last year. You've gone to WrestleMania before last year, right? You went to 24.
Yeah, that was way before boxes and stuff. But yeah, that was my first ever WrestleMania. It was 24.
Yeah. So do you have any? There's like Access. There's all these indie shows down there for WrestleMania week. Do you have any advice for people who might be coming for WrestleMania weekend?
Man, get ready, because obviously WrestleMania is the marquee event, but there's so much stuff to do that week. There's so many different promotions that come into town. They have shows that start first thing in the morning, and they have shows that start at like 2 in the morning. They just go all day, and it's really hard to pick and choose what events you want to go to. There's so many indie events taking place. There's all these different meet and greets. WrestleCon has a bunch of wrestling events taking place. And then, of course, just WWE has Access, which is really cool. And then, the NXT event, Hall of Fame, WrestleMania. There's literally so much stuff to do that you really don't have a chance to check out the city and what the city has to offer, because if you spend all your time doing the wrestling stuff, it eats up so much time. I don't think you can get through it all. So you kind of have to plan out your week in advance and figure out what kind of catches your eye. But there's literally every minute of the day, there's something going on.
Yeah, I remember last year, for some reason, it was my first time going to WrestleMania, so Chris and I went all out. We literally did everything. It was absolutely insane. I remember we tried to get you to go to Joey Janela's spring break at 12 o'clock at night, but you had to get up the next morning at 6, so you wouldn't go with us. But that was fun. But there's so much stuff to do down there. So, yeah, if you guys are going, you definitely need to visit Mike at WrestleCon for sure. So I did ask on Twitter today if anybody had questions that I should ask you today when we record. So I think now would be a good time to ask some questions.
All right, go for it.
All right, so we got Jeff Powell. I know I see his name a lot. Who is the one wrestler you guys are trying the hardest to get an autograph, but you haven't gotten yet? I don't know if you want to say that or not.
Well, we're always, for me, I have my personal favorites. If I had to, if getting in contact with them wasn't an issue, if negotiating a rate wasn't an issue, if it was just a level playing field and I could pick any wrestler and they were just going to do it, money wasn't a problem, then obviously I would pick The Undertaker, because
that'd be insane.
He's probably, he's definitely one of the biggest names in wrestling, but he's my personal favorite since I was a kid, and I would love to have his autograph in my box. And that's probably one of the, him and Steve Austin is another one I get asked about a lot. Yeah. And, when you get these boxes in the mail, and we're doing some really cool stuff, right? We're doing Braun Strowman, like you said, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. These are some of the biggest names in WWE. And when I tell you it's hard to get that, kind of signature, it really is. And I think a lot of people get the box and they kind of think, well, this is easy, right? It looks easy. Maybe we make it look easy, and we kind of set a high standard for ourselves, but it's really not. And people are saying, well, how much, how can we not get an Undertaker autograph? Well, if you go meet the Undertaker, he charges $100 an autograph. He's not going to charge me, $3 or $4 to do an autograph. He's going to charge a lot of money, even if he was willing to do it in the first place. So, that's where it gets very difficult and very challenging, because we have to pay and whatnot to get, even Sabu and Sandman and, Joey Ryan, you have to work deals with all these different individuals, and having a huge name like The Undertaker is just extremely hard to do and probably impossible. But then people are like, well, you got Hulk Hogan, for example. Well, I got lucky, That's all it boils down to. It was in the right place at the right time. We worked a good deal. Actually, my first box, I didn't make any money on the first box. I lost a lot of money on it because of this autograph. So, if I could choose somebody and none of that didn't, if any of that played into it, then it would be the Undertaker. But I'm always actively pursuing anybody that's willing to work with me. So, I'll take anybody's autograph of, I wouldn't take a no-name autograph, but somebody that has relevance in the business, I would absolutely take their autograph because, I know a lot of people don't necessarily get to go to these conventions to meet these people, and it's a great way to get autographs and to add to your collection. So there's not really a specific individual, but I'm always looking for new names, I guess was my answer.
Nice. So Figure Scoper, he says, what motivated you guys to start doing the subscription box? I guess you already went over that.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a part of the business.
What do you feel is the biggest box you've ever done?
Boy, I would say probably the Braun Strowman one. I mean, we did something that nobody else has been able to do. And again, we got lucky. But yeah, I mean, a signed Funko Pop in every box. I've seen other subscription boxes, and not necessarily wrestling boxes, but other boxes where for a signed item like that, you would have to pay extra. Yeah. As like an upgrade. So, maybe I had that option. I could have said, okay, well, for your $34.99, you get a signed 8x10, but if you pay an extra $15, $20, you can get a signed Funko Pop. Yeah. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. And so that's what I did. I just decided to include it in the box. And, I took a little bit of a gamble. Mm-hmm. It's never been done before. The budget was high for that item. Of course, the other items were not maybe the best items, but, considering you got a signed Funko Pop in your box, that's easily worth the value of your box alone. And it's a cool item, and it's something that's never been done before. So I would say that was probably the biggest box I've ever done. It sold out very quickly. I think we sold out over 100 new subscribers in less than an hour when we did that, which was insane. So yeah, that was probably the biggest box. I know the other items were not the best, and maybe if in the future, if I have an opportunity to do a signed pop, I will offer it, at additional cost, so people, the other items in the box are they're all of equal quality and not just one really, really good item. And then, I heard a lot of people say they like the items in the box. It was a little bit back and forth, actually. A lot of people liked the shirt, they liked the pin, they liked the poster, they understood they were getting a really cool, high-value item. And then other people were not happy with the shirt, for example, or they didn't like the pin. And, I mean, that's always going to happen. So, but yeah, the February box was probably the biggest one I've done.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the centerpieces of my collection. I have that little Braun Strowman pop. It's dope. Figure Scoper also, he also says, what's your favorite wrestling growing up? I guess I'm not exactly sure what he means there, but I guess like what's your favorite? Like, did you watch? You probably grew up in the 90s. Do you watch WCW or WWF? Who's your favorite wrestler?
I was a WWF guy. I know WCW did a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, WWF was my show. Monday Night Raw, I never missed it. SmackDown, of course, came soon after. So yeah, I was definitely a WWF guy. Undertaker's always been my favorite. Steve Austin's always been a close second.
Nice. That's awesome. And then he also asked, it's not wrestling related, but hey, we get to know you a little bit. What's your favorite musical artist?
Oh, man, that's a tough one because I like a lot of music. Actually, I used to do like wedding DJs. I was a wedding DJ. So,
really?
Yeah. So, music from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, there's a lot of it. I like listening to all of them. Prince, Michael Jackson are two of my favorites. Rock music, Bon Jovi, Aerosmith. I've been listening to a lot of Meatloaf recently. I don't know where that came from, but I think that, I'm getting older now, and I think I'm starting to appreciate old classics. So, yeah, I have a huge taste of variety in music. So I love disco music. Jackson 5, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can't really pinpoint a single artist, but I guess if I had to pick somebody like right now, it would be probably, like I said, Meatloaf, just because I've kind of stumbled on him and I'm learning or listening to a lot of his music. Of course, it's not new music, but it's new to me, so it's kind of cool to hear some new songs. And then a month or two from now, it's going to be somebody else. So I kind of find somebody new that's old and start listening to their music because it's new to me and it's really cool. So
yeah, music's one of those things. Like, I have the weirdest taste in music ever. I can literally go to from Frank Sinatra to NWA to freaking Justin Bieber. Like, music's just music. Like, I can listen to anything. That's how I am. Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of the newer stuff. I tried listening to it, and it kind of made me feel old when I put on the radio station that kind of plays the newer music, and I have no idea who's on the radio anymore. And the music, in my opinion, is not the best. There are some newer songs that I do really enjoy, though, like Bruno Mars and stuff. He's really good. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like where I'm at, in my life, I'm starting to appreciate the older music. When I was a kid, obviously that wasn't the deal, but now that I'm getting a little older, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of gravitating more towards the classics, and I appreciate those more. So I've started listening to like the same radio station my mom used to listen to when I was a kid. I'm like, why are you listening to this? And now I'm like, oh, that's what I'm listening to as well. So yeah, music's really cool, and it has such a powerful effect on people. You're having a bad day, you put the right song on, it just completely changes your mood, and it's amazing what music can do. And yeah, it's just I'll listen to anything that's out there, especially the older stuff. So
nice. And then we got, I think we only have one more question. If you were to offer a WrestleMania themed specialty box, what would the subscriber find inside? Also, what's your favorite film starring a professional wrestler?
Wow. Okay. Well, again, if I were to do a WrestleMania themed box, obviously, again, I'm limited. That's kind of the issue I have, is I'm limited on the merch that I can get. You have to go to Funko or Mattel, or there's other vendors that have started reaching out to me, and I can reach out to them, but the supply is limited. And I was doing WWE t-shirts, well, I'm not allowed to do those anymore because of the competition. So it's very, very hard for me to find WWE licensed merchandise that is available in my box. So I kind of have my hands tied on what I can and cannot do, and that's what makes it challenging. If I, let's say, had free reign and that wasn't a problem, then yeah, we would have some really cool stuff in there. I would be reaching out to some of the top guys for autographs. I would be, working with, graphics designers to do maybe like a really cool exclusive shirt that would tie into maybe like a WrestleMania, New Orleans theme, because they have some really cool shirts out right now on WWE Shop. I would love to put one of those in the box.
Yeah.
The whole Mardi Gras theme and whatnot. That's such a cool theme to have, and obviously they're kind of looping that in, the Mardi Gras theme, into the WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
So when you have the rights, if I had access, maybe like an exclusive Funko Pop or something, but it's just I don't have those abilities. I wish I did. But if WWE ever hired me to do their box, man, that's the kind of stuff I would want to do. Do some really cool, trying to think out of the box kind of stuff. But yeah, just with what options I have available now, it makes it very, very challenging to find new stuff. And obviously, I don't want to be just a WWE box, right? It's not called that WWE club. It's called that wrestling club. It's a wrestling box. So we want to work with the indie superstars as well, because you know what? A lot of these indie superstars are going to be in the WWE one day. And right now, we sent out Joey Ryan autographs, and a lot of people are, oh my God, I love the Joey Ryan autograph. It's really cool. It's on an exclusive print that you can't get anywhere else. And then there's a few people like, I don't even know who Joey Ryan is. Well, you know what? As soon as Joey Ryan shows up in NXT, if it ever happens, they're going to love the fact that they have those autographs. And I think one of the good examples of that is Ricochet. Like, he was, a huge indie star, and a lot of people didn't know who he was. And now he's in NXT, and everybody that watches NXT loves him. And as soon as he shows up on Raw or SmackDown one day, it's going to be the same thing, And so, we want to support the wrestlers. A lot of the independent guys that are clawing and fighting to make a name for themselves, they don't get paid a lot of money. And when they decide to work with us and give us an opportunity to partner with them on an item, we pay them the royalties for it. If we do a shirt with their name on it, or if we do an autograph or something like that, they get paid for it. So it helps them out. They're helping them pay their bills and get to the next venue for the next event, kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a WWE box, it's a wrestling box. We try to incorporate as many different elements of the wrestling business as we can. But if I were to do specifically a WrestleMania themed box, it would be very challenging because I don't have necessarily all the licensing to do it. But if I had free reign, I'm sure I could come up with some pretty cool stuff for that box.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. I must feel like he meant like let's say you did like a special box, like where you would probably upcharge it, kind of like you said you would have did with the Braun Strowman pop. And instead of charging your normal $30 rate, you would charge like $100, and it would just be like a big special box. You could definitely do a lot of cool stuff with that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, with the higher budget, you could do like some cool defining moment figures, or have these new Shawn Michaels pops coming out. So if I had, let's say you were spending $100 on a box, maybe I could get a Shawn Michaels signed Funko Pop for every box. With that kind of budget, anything's possible, and obviously it would require the quantity as well. But yeah, the possibilities would be endless.
Yeah,
to say the least. It would be very hard for me to give you specifics right now, but I'm sure I could do some really cool stuff with that.
Nice. And then he asked, what's your favorite movie that stars a professional wrestler?
Obviously there's a bunch of Rock movies out there. He's probably the biggest name, but I think that probably one of my favorite movies ever, and I might get some backlash for this, but I loved Ready to Rumble, man. That WCW movie, yes. I thought that was so cool, and they did a lot of cool stuff, and they had some really big names in there, and I thought the whole idea was really cool, and the whole the comeback story and the triple Hell in a Cell match. And I mean, I know a lot of fans like it and some don't, but I think that was freaking awesome. I enjoy that movie. I still watch it. I think it's a good movie.
The first time I ever watched the movie was, excuse me, last year in our hotel room in Orlando. Me and Chris watched it. That movie is hilarious. I loved it.
I think they did a great job.
I would probably say Guardians of the Galaxy is mine.
Batista, yeah.
Dave Batista is probably one of my favorite wrestlers. You should try and get a Big Dave autograph for the box.
Yeah.
Well, he does a lot of cons. He might be pretty easy to get autographs.
Never know.
Yeah, right?
That's one thing I've learned is that never say never, because when I started this subscription box, I didn't know, Braun Strowman or AJ Styles or Seth Rollins or Hulk Hogan or even like Al Snow, for example. There's so many different wrestlers that I've worked with that I had no idea even like where do I even begin to contact these people. And over time, like I said, building those relationships. So names that are impossible right now might not be impossible in the future, and that's I never say never. You never know. Maybe one day I will get a Dave Batista autograph. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Here I'll do one final question. I'll do it from me. Do you have any hints for next month's box?
Well, I'm doing a figure. It's a WrestleMania figure, so I don't know if you want to try to guess or anything like that. I don't like to. I try not to give too many spoilers out in March because, I want the whole idea of a subscription box is that it's supposed to be a surprise.
A mystery, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's supposed to be a mystery, and in today's world, and specifically wrestling, surprises don't happen anymore. I mean, the WWE has to a lot of times spoil stuff to get it out there, because it ends up online. I mean, we're already hearing all kinds of rumors about WrestleMania and who's winning this, who's winning that.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if how more interesting would WrestleMania be if we didn't think that Brock Lesnar was leaving?
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, it's almost guaranteed that we're going to see a new champion, and it's almost guaranteed that it's Roman Reigns. But how better would it be if we had no idea that Brock was leaving, and we had no idea who was going to win, and it was a true, contest, and like the streak. And when the streak happened, that was such a shock. Nobody knew anything about it. But those kind of surprises happen so rare now, just because there's so many sources and so many people are leaking stuff, and WWE has to leak the information themselves, and and so when my whole business is basically built on a mystery box, wrestling fans want to know. They don't like surprises.
Yeah.
And I love surprises, so why not have a surprise? And they're always asking for hints, and I think sometimes it's because they're not sure if they want to buy the box or not.
Yeah.
And I get that part of it. If you're spending money on something, you kind of want to know what you're going to get. So that aspect I get. But there's a lot of them out there that buy the boxes. They've already paid for it, and they still want to know what's inside. Even when the boxes go out, if they don't have their box yet, and somebody got the box the day before, they're online looking for pictures and watching videos on YouTube to see what they're going to get. And I just, I think I want to try to rebuild the suspense and the surprise, and try to make it like you really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that's such a cool aspect of it, and some months you're going to be disappointed, and some months you're going to be, overly impressed with what you get. So that's the gamble. But so I don't think I might give hints here and there.
Yeah.
Themes kind of help that. If you announce you're doing like the Halloween theme, you kind of get an idea of what kind of stuff to expect. But I like the mystery of it, man. I like the surprise and not knowing what's going to be inside.
For sure. And to like talk about how you said, like, in wrestling in general, how surprises ruin things. There was that big surprise today that they just randomly put online, like Daniel Bryan's returning to the ring. Why couldn't they just tonight on SmackDown, let's say something's happening, Shane McMahon's getting beat up. I'm assuming he's going to be in a tag team match with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Shane McMahon's getting beat up by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Why couldn't he have just came out and just started helping Shane and just surprising the crap out of the crowd? No, they had to like announce it. Like the internet, like WWE spoils stuff half the time, and I completely agree. It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, I think that if they did not spoil it themselves, I mean, it was already kind of coming out. There was something going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been rumors now for a couple weeks that he might be coming back. He might not be coming back to wrestle. He might be going to, Ring of Honor. He might not be going to Ring of Honor when his contract's up. There's a lot of speculation on it. And I think that, now that they've decided to announce it, I'm pretty sure that somebody else would have kind of broke that news before the WWE did. But then also, they kind of need to announce this kind of stuff to draw more ratings. I mean, now how many more people are going to watch SmackDown tonight that would probably not watch it because of that? But if they were able to deliver surprises more often, then more people might watch. You know what I mean? But now it's like, well, if you kind of already know what's going to happen, why do I even need to watch it? Right? That's why I think it's great that they moved SmackDown over to Tuesday and did it live, because now it's live. There's still some, a little bit of a surprise element to it. But when WWE or WWF was out in the 90s and the early 2000s, there was all kinds of stuff happening, and that's kind of the birth of the internet. So all these rumors and spoilers and stuff weren't really happening. So you had to watch the whole show to find out what was going to happen next. And now it just kind of ruins the product when you know what's going to happen. And I try to stay offline, around like the Royal Rumble, because that's one of my favorite pay-per-views. I don't want to know who's rumored to be in it. I don't want to know who's rumored to win it. I want it to be a surprise, And same with WrestleMania, man. I'd love to go in thinking that maybe Brock Lesnar will win, even though I know he won't. It would be cool to who's going to win this match, and make things a lot more interesting. And then people are quick to complain that wrestling's boring because they know what's going to happen. Well, they spend all day reading up about it, Stay off social media and watch the product, and you might actually enjoy it more.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like, how do you feel about the WrestleMania card this year? I think it looks pretty good, but there's some questionable matches on there in my opinion.
Well, yeah, no, I think there's some really good matches. I think Asuka versus Charlotte Flair is going to be an awesome match.
Yeah.
I think that one, you know, Asuka's probably going to win, but you know, there's still a little question mark there. Will Charlotte Flair be able to, you know, beat her? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of cool. You know, the Undertaker John Cena match. I hope that they don't wait until WrestleMania to bring the Undertaker back. I hope he comes out next week on Raw, or he makes some sort of an appearance where there's some sort of indication that he's going to be there. But I think that's going to be a really good match. Honestly, I'm glad the Undertaker's coming back. I know a lot of people are saying that he's done and he shouldn't be coming back, but I'm one of the few that thinks that I honestly believe the Undertaker has a couple more good matches in him. I think that we're looking at his match from last year, and using that to kind of gauge where he will be this year. I think a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised with the Undertaker, because I remember seeing him at the Royal Rumble last year, and he was clearly a little overweight, and he was really struggling. I mean, he was only in the Rumble for a few minutes, and he was having a hard time moving around the ring. You could tell he was in a lot of pain. It wasn't like he had a 20-minute match and was struggling. He was struggling as soon as he got out there. And obviously he wasn't working out, you know, seeing how overweight he was and whatnot. So he's not been training. Obviously after WrestleMania and his match at WrestleMania, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't his best match, obviously.
I went back and watched it. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was when I was there live. It's not nearly as...
You can see that he's struggling in the ring.
Oh,
he's
for
having
sure.
a hard time moving. He was in a lot of pain. After WrestleMania, he's had some surgeries. He's been training, obviously, as John Cena pointed out. He's been posting videos on his wife's Instagram page. He's back in the gym. He's training hard. I think that he probably left WrestleMania last year thinking, this is my last match. And I think now that it's a year later and he's had the surgeries, obviously he's still going to be in some pain. But I think this is probably his chance to really deliver a good match. And this might be his last match for sure. I think last year was supposed to be his last match, but I think he probably went back and looked at it and was like, yeah, this is not how I want to go out. I'm going to give it another shot. And I think my body's better this year, and I've been able to train more and eat right or whatever. And I've had, you know, the surgeries, whatever. He's probably a lot healthier, and I think he can probably deliver a better match. And he's in the ring with John Cena as well, so it's a big name. It's a big match. So I think this is probably how he's going to go out.
I personally think he's going to be the American badass in my opinion. I think because like last year, like because it looked like he retired last year after his match. He put his stuff in the ring and left. Okay, what if he was just retiring the Phenom gimmick and now he's the American Badass for a little bit and then he retires as the American Badass? I wouldn't mind that at all.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I mean, he did leave all his stuff in the ring, but he's also come back, you know, between WrestleMania last year and WrestleMania this year. We saw him as the Phenom, right? The dead man. He came out at Raw 25. And that's the funny thing is that John Cena was saying that he's been in hiding and all this other stuff. He was on TV just a few weeks ago, you know? I mean, Kid Rock's going to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
That's why I really
think
there
will be a cool mashup where he comes out as the American Badass one more time. I don't know, but, you know, if this is his last match, he came in as the Undertaker, you know, the dead man Undertaker. And I think if this is his last match, it only makes sense that he goes out that way. But you never know, and that's a cool element of it. What happens if he does come back?
True.
As the biker Undertaker, that would be cool. I mean, either way, I think it'd just be awesome to have him there and see him wrestle again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait for WrestleMania. Takeover looks good too. I'm excited for that and the new NXT Championship match. It's a lot of good stuff happening on WrestleMania weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, that's the season, man. WrestleMania season's the hottest season for any wrestling fan. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on, you know. It's great.
For sure. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So, guys, if you you guys heard about that wrestling club. If you guys want to check out that wrestling club, you guys can use discount code Cassatt Show at checkout for 10% off your first box. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm not sure if you changed it yet because it used to be Cassatt Bros. Or you could probably put like anything in there and it'll probably be 10% off.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10% off your first box. It's a good deal. Like you get some cool stuff. You get autographs. You get figures. You get T-shirts. You get pins. A lot of fun stuff. I'm looking forward to the next month's box. You said a figure might have something to do with WrestleMania, so that could be a Funko, could be a basic, could be an Elite. So many different things. Exciting stuff. Anything else you want to say before we end it here?
Well, one thing, I know that a lot of people have been asking about the Wrestle Tunes.
Oh, yeah.
Get asked
I didn't even think about
every
those.
Day about the Wrestle Tunes.
Uh-huh.
They are very cool. We are working on the second one now.
Oh, yeah?
We're not a huge subscription service. We're definitely not the biggest. We do pretty good. So it's kind of harder for us to have something like that created because there's minimum orders and stuff you have to fulfill.
Yeah.
And, it gets kind of complicated. But yeah, so a lot of people have been asking about it. It's being made right now. It's in the very, very early stages, so it's going to take probably another couple months. But the second Wrestle Tune will probably be available sometime this summer.
That's exciting.
Is the projected timeline for it. So the response we got from them has been awesome. Everybody that's pretty much picked one up has had a lot of cool stuff to say about them. Obviously, they're a little different. They're boxed in a wrestling theme box. They have the plastic window on front, so if you do, take them to meet the wrestler, you can get them signed. And we designed them with the wrestler, our figure collector in mind, so that you can display them on the shelf, you can get them signed. We're trying to look into getting like a pop protector, similar to pop protector design for them as well, so you can package them up and keep them good. But yeah, I mean, everybody that's purchased one have they've had a lot of great things to say about them, and it's probably the coolest thing that I've ever done. Even if we were just to do one, just to say that, hey, we've created our own toy. Yeah, we only made one, but no, the second one is underway, and look out for that this summer.
That's awesome. I completely forgot about WrestleTunes when we that's really exciting. Now I'm all excited. That's like one of the coolest things.
Do one every month.
Yeah,
trust me. And maybe one day we will. We need to. We're growing our subscriber count every month. Every day, new people are following me on Twitter, reaching out. They're asking questions about the product, what comes in the box. I know that they're checking out videos on YouTube. They're going back and looking at previous boxes. So as the subscriber count continues to grow, and I know we have a lot of competition out there, so it's not a fast process, but as we continue to grow and new people learn about the product, things like that will happen more often, like the Wrestle Tunes. We'll be able to do them more often. We'll be able to bring you more exclusive product. We'll be able to work with more wrestlers. So as we continue to grow, you'll see more of that stuff happening as well. But right now, we're just not able to do them every month, but it's definitely something we would like to get to a certain point down the line, is where we're able to put one in a box every month.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. That is a good way to end this show. All right. So thatwrestlingclub.com, 10% off your first box. Cassatt Show, wrestling goodies to your house every month. Pretty exciting stuff. Awesome. All right. Join the club, guys.
My name is Jordan the Giant Cassatt.